So, I don't have a ton of time right now, but I'm going to show you the setup, and then I'm going to do more after dinner tonight. Currently, I have requisitioned my dad's cam, his phone, because he never uses it anyways, so why not, to do hyperlapse duties. So that's going to give us a nice cool view of this engine bay. I am going a little more in depth in terms of my bagging and tagging and labeling, because I've never done this before. The interior stuff, I've done all that before. The only parts of that I haven't done are pulling the steering wheel and actually pulling the airbags. Other than that, well, and that getting the dash actually off with the steering wheel off. I've like disconnected all the stuff before and had it wiggling, but I've never actually had it off because I didn't want to take the steering wheel off. Besides that, I've never done transmission stuff before. This will actually be the first one I've pulled off of a car. So, I'm going to be a lot more careful and a lot more recordy than I was before. And I have around here somewhere, I don't actually know where I put it. Yeah. Big ol' variety pack sitting on the Blue Beastie. So, 347 of the finest black market Ziploc bags from Costco. And I got a bunch of Sharpies. That's my apple. Delicious. Mom went to an orchard. Got an apple and some Sharpies. And these are going to be used to label all those with all of those. And I'm going to be doing step-by-step instructions using this phone. And then the hyperlapse will cover everything else. So hopefully you guys will have a very, very detailed step-by-step, because I'm gonna need it to be able to put this all back together. So I'm hoping this helps you guys too. Right now, all I've done is I've removed the air intake, I've removed the battery tray, the headlights, the front bumper, other headlight, and most of the wheel well liners. I haven't removed this one all the way back there yet, but I will. So I haven't really done anything that's out of the ordinary for anybody. This is just stuff you can take off and know how to take off using maintenance knowledge and, I don't know, the knowledge of a screwdriver or a wrench, or you'll figure it out. If you don't have the confidence to take off a headlight, you probably shouldn't be attempting to take off a transmission. I have overconfidence in taking off transmissions, which means I probably shouldn't be taking off of a headlight. That sounds about, yeah, that works in the reverse too. So, I'm going to continue with this bad idea. I need to get the electrical clips off of the fan shroud here. I need to take the fan shroud out. I'm going to be taking the radiator out. This is not a necessary step, but this is something I'm doing because I'm replacing the radiator. So, you guys don't have to do that, but it will be included in my steps, because my steps are for me. They might not work for you, I'm sorry. Also, I have an 03 car, so I don't have the whole air injection shenanigans. So, for those of you that are saddled with that, or for those of you that are burdened with the lovely curse of being able to reflash your ECU and get lift at like 5,800 RPM, you bastards. For those of you, I'm sorry, this isn't gonna be as helpful, maybe? I don't know. So, yeah, follow along. Here we go. Step number 1. Take the radiator shroud fan thing out. You need to take off a bolt here. I have already taken that off and put it, oh, hold on. Flash. I have already taken that off. One bolt here. There's a clip here for the wire. There's a clip there for a wire. There's the big gray clip there on the actual electric connection. Then over here, you need to take the hose off the nipple. And then there's another bolt right down there. that you need to take off. And then this whole thing will come up and out. It sits in two little army thingies down there. There, I don't know if you can see that. What happens is this fits in there. In there. Yeah. So that's step one. Take that out. So I'm gonna make a bag it, I'm gonna tag it, I'm gonna take it out. Step one is done. That has been removed. Once I got these clips out, which by the way, if you are trying to figure out how they come out, which took me a hot second, it's the skinny sides you have to pinch, not the fat sides. I was pinching the fat sides at first because, you know, logically that's where you would pinch because it's the most purchase. But nope, you got to pinch the skinny sides. Much easier to do from underneath, but, you know, whatever. And then this thing is a pain in the butt. It's just a real firm push on the top here when you pull it out. No big deal. Next, I am going to be draining the coolant, which looks like it has a leak almost. Actually, no, what probably happened is this just dripped on top of it all night. Bloop. So, I'm going to be draining that. I'll be taking this coolant hose off, and then we'll go from there. So, if you screw up like I did, and you make a giant biohazardous mistake, make sure that you prioritize not whatever else you're doing, but prioritize cleaning this up. This stuff is sweet tasting and smelling and poisonous, and it will kill any animals that you love that get into it and eat it. It will also kill animals you don't love, but like, you know, don't do that. You're not a horrible person. I'm going to enlist the help of my bemused father, who has just walked in and went, "What the hell did I let my son do in my garage?" Right. Unfortunately, it is time for me to go clean up and get ready for dinner. Going out to get some Mexican food tonight, which I'm very excited for. I have the Radiator draining currently. Everything else is disconnected. I've got this hose just kind of air gapped, so this will all drain properly. Got the cap off there. I'm gonna clean up my hazardous waste with a broom, and then I'm gonna let the radiator drain while we're at dinner, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna take it out. So, yeah.
Hi everybody, my name is Rox. I'm with Rock and Roll Vacuum, and I like Coke Kitty litter.
Look at this big boy that has crawled out to say hello. He's a big boy, isn't he? Hello, spider. How do? How do? How do? Run away, run away, run away! Alright guys, now, today, Sunday, the goal is to get that out by the end of today. So, need to get the rest of this hose off, need to get the radiator out. It's so skinny. New one is so much thicker. Then, I don't really know what all this is. I need to figure that out. Because one of my other goals is to possibly clean up some wiring and relocate some things so the engine bay looks a little bit cleaner. I would like to do that as well. And then I need to also get the valve cover off, but that comes after the transmission comes out, because the valve cover is coming off to get painted. So I think first I'm going to get this battery mount out of the way here, and then I'm going to get the fender liner the rest of the way out. Just got to get the back end of it off there. And then I'm going to go start taking a look at getting the slave cylinder off. Getting that off, and then probably moving on to the axles. So we'll hit the time lapse, and I'll pull up Seabass's videos to guide me as my lovely Californian Yoda. Can Yoda be a fish? Is it possible? I mean, he's green, so he's definitely not like... Is he a mammal? What is Yoda? He's got hair, so he's probably a mammal, but like fish have whiskers and fish have hair too. I don't know. Tell me in the comments, what do you guys think? This is step 2, which is going to be remove the radiator. So, I got a bolt up here, I got a bolt over here, and then I'm pretty sure it just like slots in down there at the bottom. I don't think there's any bolts or anything. So I'm gonna try and get those bolts up, get those in a baggie, get those labeled, and then get the radiator out of here. Alright, radiator is out. I chose to, instead of bagging and tagging the bolts, just put them back in the core sport with the radiator sport daily here, daily there. I dribbled a little bit, so I'm gonna have to get some kitty litter on that and clean up my biohazard, keep the cord out of the way. And then we're gonna move on to step 3. Step 3 is to remove this ground on the bottom of the transmission. That way we can continue to take it out. So that's step 3. Now normally I would take a bolt like this and put it back in the hole that it came out of. That way I know exactly where it goes. However, this one needs cleaned desperately. So this one's gonna go into my ultrasonic cleaner that I bought off of Amazon, and I'm desperate to throw anything I can in. Ah, new toys. I'm gonna throw this one in there and maybe throw it in with another piece of something I'm derusting in somewhere else. But once that's done, then it will go back into the hole. So the problem is remembering to do that. I don't know how to do that. We'll see. We'll see. Step 4, which should have been step 3, but then I took off the ground bolt because I didn't want to forget it, and now it's step 4. Step 4 is going to be remove the remaining radiator hoses. Right after you remove the radiator, don't do something else. Take them off. Yeah, and deal with that. I'm going to do that. That radiator hose fitting. That one. Right there. Yeah. That one. That one. Pain in the butt. Super annoying to get off because it's kind of fused on, and you have to pry bar it off. But I ended up using a trim removal tool with a kinked end, which actually worked pretty well, and got under there and was able to kind of pry it forward and get it off. So that's the end of that. That's step number 4. Step number 5 is going to be to put rags in the ends of both of your coolant intakes and exits on the coolant ports. I don't know what you want to call them on the motor. That way nothing bad gets in there. I also put one in my intake as well. So I'm going to do that now. That's step 5. Step 6 will be removing this battery tray right here. So let's go with 5 and 6. Step number 7 is going to be remove the rest of this wheel well liner. Step 7, 5, and 2 is 7. This is going to get a lot harder as the numbers get bigger. So, you know, prepare to be even more annoyed at me than you already are now, everyone. Sorry. I apologize for nothing. Alright, let's go. Wheel well liner has been removed. I'm quite proud of myself. Number 8, remove the oil, and the oil filter was completed with minimal drippage, and this is post drippage, so I'm assuming this is probably from where I left the oil filter off and didn't put anything under it like an idiot. Step number 9, instead of draining the transmission, because Dad took off with the oil catch thingy to go dump it out, and I forgot about the transmission, so we're gonna wait and do that later. Step number 9 is going to be disconnect the slave cylinder and all of the attached attachment points for the hard line. So there's 2 bolts down here that you have to take off for the slave cylinder bracket and the slave cylinder itself. And then over here there is, let's see if I can show it, there's one more for the hard line right there. Here's your speed sensor bracket that you got to take off as well, but that's not for the slave cylinder, that's separate. And then back there there's another bolty right there. Got to take that one off too, and that is the last one, I believe, for the slave cylinder. Unless, maybe I have to take this one off as well. This one right here. That one. Maybe? I'm not really quite sure. Because then it goes up, you know, along the fender wall. I think I can just get away with taking off 1 and 2, and that should be good because those are just off of the transmission, and then the transmission should be able to drop. So I'm only going to do that at first, and we'll see how that goes. Number 9 will be removing the speed sensor wire deal right there. And then number 10 will probably be removing the shift cable cotter pins and connections and stuff back there, but we'll see how it goes. So, continue! Alright, step number 9 is done. So, I have removed the slave cylinder. I've only zip tied this. It's not actually holding pressure to keep it in, but I will, actually right now the reason I'm pausing with gloves off to dry my hands out is so I can go get a zip tie or something to make sure I zip tie that in so that it maintains pressure and I don't lose all my fluid and have to bleed the system because that's a pain in the butt. I have removed that 14 millimeter, which was holding on to that little brackety dealy. And I have removed, where's the other one? Where's the other one? Ah, here it is. This bracket, there's a 14 mil that sits there that I've removed and then put back in the hole where it's supposed to go. because that one's not rusty. The other ones, the other bolts are all rusty, so they've gone in a Ziploc bag and tagged clutch slave cylinder, and they're gonna go through the ultrasonic cleaner with something. Time to move on to step number 10. Step number 10, of which I've already done part of, is put the oil filter back on, because I forgot earlier, so that's not really a part of it. And then drain the transmission. So, down here, we have transmission drain. And one of these up here is a fill, or a whatever. I need to look up and figure out which one. But one of these is a fill dealie. I think it's that one. I don't think it's that one. I think it's that one. So, before we drain this, we are going to crack and make sure that this will open and then drain it. But I need to double check that that is what I think it is before I put anything in it. Yeah. All right. The check plug was pulled first. That is not... There's another one over there. It's not that one. It's that one. The check plug was pulled first. That pulled fine. The drain plug was pulled. That's a 24 millimeter. Transmission is drained. Next step is going to be to go back in your... See that little round thing back there? I'm going to take that off. And then there's another one down here. I'm gonna take that one off too. So I gotta take the shift cables off, and then I have to take them off at these brackets that are back in here. Once I take those off and I get the shift cables off there, then I will be able to start doing the bolts that attach it to the engine, and I think mounts. I don't know. I gotta watch the video again. I'll figure it out. So, go! All right. These flippin' clips. This one here is the last hurdle. That one over there I already pulled off. It is right here. And thank you to PB Blaster for helping. It definitely did well. Yeah, that was up on your shelf spray things.
Oh, okay. Probably came from the shop.
So what I've been doing is I've been using these pliers in a way that probably will break them.
You have noticed that I have a very organized workplace.
Not at all.
Give me the camera.
And what I was doing was I was basically rotating the pliers to twist that up. At least that's what I did on this one, because the angle is a little bit easier. So I was able to get in there with the pliers and then rotate and kind of like pull it up that way using the back of it as a lever. This other one, I'm not really able to do that. So I don't know what I'm going to do for this one, but you know, I'll get back to you. So, got both of the shifter cables off, thanks to Mom and her suggestion of PB Blaster. Got those off. Getting the cotter pins and getting them popped off the actual shift levers was super easy. I currently have everything kind of tucked up out of the way. So I've got the harness going over here. Hey! Yeah. There we go. And I've got this hosey dealy dropped down here, kind of out of the way. I've got the negative, or the, sorry, not the negative, the ground, the battery ground off here, hanging over here. And then I've tucked the brake line up and I've zip tied it very precariously. And then kind of hooked that up over here and gotten everything out of the way. If anybody has any suggestions on how to relocate whatever this is, whatever this is, whatever this is, let me know, because that'd be fun. But other than that, tomorrow morning I'm gonna come out, check everything over, double check everything, and then step 12 will be to go either for the bolts on the transmission bell housing or start going for the motor mounts or the transmission mounts. So we'll see.